Hello, YouTube. Uh, I hope you can see my little dog there in the background. That's my little dog, Evie. And my cat's in here too today, so we're gonna have a really good video coming up. So welcome to day one of my meditation challenge. Now for my day one, I participated in a primordial sound meditation, which has definitely given me the best results in the past. So for 20 minutes, I just chant I've always used the same video to chant along with. I used the 3-hour 432 hertz video, which I will link below for you all. 432 hertz is the healing tune that is consistent with the vibration of the universe. So this chant is very simple, and for me personally, it doesn't feel forced at all. If you take a listen to the video, you can hear the chanting, and I just chant along with the chanting in the video. I find that the chanting helps me to stay focused on nothing but the meditation itself. And it really just helps to clear my head and clear my mind. If you are also interested in pineal gland activation or your third eye, with your eyes closed, you look up and inwards towards that third eye. Over time, I've noticed that if you're consistent with the chanting and the Om routine, you begin to hear and tune in and feel it and become one with the Om vibration itself, or the vibration of the universe. You can even get to the point where you don't even need to chant anymore, and you can just recognize the sound internally and hear it. So before you begin with this kind of meditation, you just need to take a couple deep breaths. And just center your mind, get rid of any extraneous thoughts. And over time and with practice, the muscles, that's my dog, because he sees my cat. Over time, the muscles in your larynx and your voice box will relax, and then you'll actually be able to hear that true vibration coming through. I used to do this meditation a lot. And it was definitely one of the best ways that I reached a transcendent state, which I will be talking about in a future video. However, just getting back into it today, for my day one of my meditation challenge, I definitely entered a trance-like state after the first 20 minutes. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about something I call the meditation wiggles. I'm not sure if anybody else in the world experiences this, but when I really get into a deep trance from meditation, my body starts to move a little bit, like with the vibrations of the universe in a way. Like I feel like I'm floating on a current or floating on the ocean. I just basically go with whatever vibes I'm feeling. And from my day one of my meditation challenge reminded me of my very first sensory deprivation float tank experience. So for those of you who don't know, the sensory deprivation tank is a soundproof, pitch black tank that's filled with Epsom salts. And so your body just floats on top of the water, and the water in the tank is actually the same temperature of your body. So your body is at 37.5 is average for normal body temperature. So basically what that accomplishes is you lose sense of where you begin and where you end. But that's definitely after you get comfy and cozy. So for my first float, I just remember laying there in the tank and my mind just started racing. It was like every thought that I'd ever created, insecurities, doubts, fears, were just hitting my mind like bullets. And I had to clear these thoughts one by one. So how I release the thoughts is I see the thought in my mind, and what I do is I basically I release it, and in my own head, I'm just waving it goodbye, and simultaneously I take a deep breath in, and as I release, I relax my shoulders and I just let go of the thought. I'm just letting it go and waving goodbye. So after a little while of all these thoughts, my mind finally started to become clear, and I went into this trance-like state. I had no sense of time. I felt very light, very content, and just at peace. I felt very balanced. Anytime this feeling of balance and peace and tranquility occurs, I just get this weird inclination to start moving and grooving. It's just those impulses that I was talking about before, where I just feel like moving, like I'm on an ocean current with the vibration of the universe. And when I follow these impulses, it leads to this tingle up my spine and throughout my body. So I don't just sit quietly for 20 minutes, because I feel that I gain so much more when I follow these impulses to move and to be one with the current of the universe. I definitely feel like these movements release negative energy and just allows positive energy to flow. So a couple of examples, I'll get the urge to move my neck back during a meditation, and to me this is I'm just accepting the energy from the universe and just letting it come down. Or sometimes I get in this really weird state where I just kind of flail my arms around, and I think that that's more so just like releasing negative energy. It definitely kind of reminds me of Tai Chi or Qigong and those energy releasing, energy accepting techniques. So back to the tank, because this was my first float, I was moving pretty intensely for the last 30 minutes on my float. And I think it could be because I had so much negative energy bundled up inside. Whereas in today's meditation, I just let this negative energy just kind of float out of me, and I was able to accept more energy in through the neck tilt back. I think maybe my experience in the sensory deprivation tank helped me to clear a lot of my negative energy and just let it go. So all in all, the sensory deprivation tank is such a unique experience. No float is ever the same. And after the float, you just feel, or I felt like a weight had been completely lifted off of me. I was just so calm and in the moment entirely. I just remember afterwards I would be driving in my car and I was just so unbelievably happy and in an even more blissful state than I normally am, which is crazy because I'm usually always happy. And I could see every single detail of everything that surrounded me, and I was able to appreciate it so much and just take in everything all at once. In terms of the sensory deprivation tank, I will give you 7 tips. So if you know that you're going to go, I would definitely practice meditation faithfully every day up until your appointment, because the float is rather pricey and you definitely want to get the most out of your float. So number 2 is don't drink any coffee or take any stimulants, because this will affect your heart rate and the ability for you to control your heart rate. If you get into a deep enough meditation, you can actually affect your heart rate, but with coffee or a stimulant, it acts as a hindrance to you having total control over that. Also, I would be very cautious with how much you drink, because a full bladder is definitely not very helpful if you're trying to get into a deep state. And if you're like me and you get the urge to groove and move around, I say go for it. If it feels like you're letting go of negative energy and it's just energy movement, then I would say it's definitely beneficial for you to follow those impulses. Number 4 tip is just let go. Just have no expectations. Be very open to whatever could happen, because like I said, no float is the same. So if you're open, then your experience will be very unique and it will be very meaningful to you. And just try to release your thoughts if you can, to clear your mind in the way that I described or in whatever way works for you. I just do the imagine and the wave goodbye. That's always worked for me. But that's definitely just the power of belief, and whatever you think works in your mind is going to work for you. Make sure after your float you have some time to reflect upon your experience and take in everything that's going on in your surroundings. Number 6, I would definitely recommend meditating after your float in order to keep that peaceful, tranquil state that you get into and just extend that for a longer period of time. And perhaps the most important tip I can give you is bring some eye goggles or something to put, like a little floaty, underneath the nape of your neck, because your head is floating at an angle where water, the salt water, gets into your eyes, or it has a high chance of getting into your eyes, and it burns. It burns a lot, and it's a hindrance to you getting into that state that you want to get into. So once again, thank you so much for watching. It's always a pleasure talking to you all. If you leave a comment, I will definitely get back to you. If you ever need somebody to talk to, just shoot me a comment and I will provide you with my email if you have any questions or concerns. As always, stay humble, keep it real,